before a prayer. قال وعن النعمان بن بشير رضي الله عنهما قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول وأهوى النعمان بإصبعيه إلى أذنيه قال إن الحلال بين وإن الحرام بين وبينهما مشتبهات لا يعلمهن كثير من الناس فمن اتقى الشبهات فقد استبرأ لدينه وعرضه ومن وقع في الشبهات وقع في الحرام كالراعي يرعى حول الحمى يوشك أن يقع فيه ألا وإن لكل ملك حمى ألا وإن حمى الله محارمه ألا وإن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. So An-Nu'man bin Bashir radiyallahu anhu said, I heard the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saying, and he pointed to his ears that he himself heard it from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, saying that the halal, the lawful things, are very clear, and the harams, the prohibited things, are very clear. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained to be halal or haram is very clear. And in between, there are some aspects or some matters that are doubtful or suspicious. A lot of people don't know them. Part of them not because they are suspicious by themselves, because they need a scholar to point them out, or some of them Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has left as such. But many of them because people don't know them. And whoever avoid these suspicious things then has sought a purity for his faith and for his honor. And the one who falls in the suspicious matters then eventually will fall in the haram. So if you keep approaching that gray zone between the halal and haram, you will eventually fall in the haram. So it's better to have this safety margin, this safety layer away from the haram. And this is what the Prophet ﷺ said. It's like a shepherd that keeps circulating with his sheep around certain property. If you're close to someone else's property, eventually some of the sheep will go rogue and step out their boundaries into someone else's property. And then he gives an example, the Prophet ﷺ, that every king has a property. And the property of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the prohibited things. So you don't want to trespass on that property. The Prophet ﷺ goes on to say, and in every body there is one piece of flesh. If it is right, then the entire body will be right. And if it goes wrong, then the entire body would go wrong, because it is the source of the goodness and the purity in the human being, and that is the heart. So to work on your faith, on your purity, starts with the heart, and that's the source of the purity. And this hadith, that's why the companions رضوان الله عليهم قالوا كنا نترك تسعة أعشار الحلال خشية الوقوع في الحرام. We would avoid 90% of the halal phase in order to avoid falling in the haram. That is the wara'. The wara' is the inclination to avoid anything suspicious, so you avoid the haram completely. So, and this wara', subhanallah, goes up with piety, with taqwa, with the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And people now do the exact opposite. They keep fatwa shopping in order to see maybe someone will make it halal for us, someone will twist it and find us something, and maybe another Google search will reveal something different. It's the exact opposite. If it is something suspicious, doubtful, not a clear-cut halal, just avoid it. And obviously seek the fatwa from those who are capable and credible to give in it. This hadith we've read. قال وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إياكم والحسد فإن الحسد يأكل الحسنات كما تأكل النار الحطب. So this is avoiding the bad deeds, and that's min a'mal al-qulub. So the Abu Hurairah reports the Prophet ﷺ said, avoid or beware of envy and jealousy, because that devours or eats your good deeds like the fire goes on dry wood. So this is part of the acts of the hearts. It's not a visible act, it's something in the heart. And that goes back to what the Prophet ﷺ said, the piece of the part of the body that needs to be pure. وعنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ليس الشديد بالسرعة إنما الشديد الذي يملك نفسه عند الغضب. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu also reported the Prophet ﷺ said, a powerful person, a mighty person, is not the one who is strong at wrestling or fighting. It is indeed the one who controls himself at the time of anger. So this is when you show restraint and when you show discipline, to indicate that you are in charge of yourself. If you cannot defeat yourself, then you're not powerful. It is not by defeating others, it's by defeating your nafs and shaitan. This is how it starts. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله والحمد لله رب العالمين.
The question about Tikrar. You have to give Tikrar.